That's why you can see that MRC Nigeria is, it's rated best when it comes to world best practice. So we have people from other countries who come. This is where you are. We have people from other countries who have to learn from us, who are from that our activities where gender responsive, gender complete. We have our approach and all of that. So you get to know about migrant and really possible. Like I said before,
which are the MRC's order. Okay, so definitely the advantage of labor employment is that departments be able to government and often connect to them too. They also improve the industry in 2022. Presently, it's at the network of state offices, district offices, and seasonal office, which the headquarters is the Abuja. The information we want to unites its power from the constitution of federal government election and senate constitution. Then also it is from the issue of the legislation list. We have our corporate ministries, which are like corporate list. We have exclusive information we want to and exclusive decision making for our company of Nigeria. That means it's only the power is exercised in the federal government. So those states offices have the federal mission. So the legal framework that guides the operation of federal mission is the Labor Act, that's 2004, as amended, Fashion Act, Trade Disputes Act, Trade Union Arbitration Conciliation Act, Employee Compensation Act, 2010, Child Rights Act, Pension Reform Act, Geneva Conventions, National Insurance Trust Fund Act, National Health Insurance Scheme Act, National Minimum Wage Act, Productivity Center Act, National Directorate of Employment Act, Nigerian Children Trust Fund Act, National Institute for Labour Studies Act, last but not the least, National Policy on Labour Migration, which we still have others still coming up. It is important to know that the Employment and Wages Department is where the MRC, as MRC is a unit under the Employment and Wages Department. So the Productivity Measurement and Labour Standards, the Social Security and Cooperative Department, the Occupational Health and Safety, Skills Development and Certification, then also Policy Analysis, Research and Statistics. To dwell more on the other departments, which are very key, because most times when you ask someone to, what do you understand that Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment does, they will just tell you they create employment, or that's the place where employment originates from. Most times people don't really know the other services or the other activities that is carried out by the ministry. So the trade test, which is a certificate for artisans in Nigeria, if one goes or finish from university, the person gets graduates with either a BSc, BA, or HND as a case. Then most times people that actually go to learn that skilled workers, they actually learn handiworks. Which certificate do they get after, to certify that they've been able to demonstrate that they can apply the skills learned? This is a trade test, and it's the skills certification department that issues that, which in Lagos State we have the office at Yaba, that is opposite to Queen's College. And it's also worth to know that trade test certificate is equivalent to OND. Yeah, according to assessments, it's equivalent to OND. So please, it's very important. All these other services are highlighted. We also have other ones, but time will not permit me to go through them. So Migrant Resource Center, and then also the National Electronic Labour Exchange, So the MRC and the NELEX is a unit, like I said, under the Employment and Wages under the Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment. The MRC was set up by the federal government in collaboration with IOM, that's International Organization for Migration, in 2016. It is a unit under the Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment. The center has 3 locations, which include Abuja, Lagos, and Edo State. Then, what does the MRC do? Or what does it stand for? Okay, it is an information hub for the provision of accurate information about migration, reintegration, and other support services for potential and return migrants and the general public in order to enable migrants exercise their rights and avoid exploitation, and also provide migrants with information on how their migration, remittances, and return plans can be linked to development. To the functions of MRC. So the MRC centers actually provide services such as information and counseling section. So I believe when you were coming into the hall, you might have seen some chairs arranged outside. Red colors. So that's our counseling session, place. So that also advice on the legal migration rights, employment, and integration. So the MRC, most times when you get the word migration, it's a very, very simple word, but it entails a lot. People are migrating today, but the majority of the call them migrant workers. They don't know their rights and their responsibilities. So the MRC also carry out what we call the PIOS. That's a pre-commercial orientation workshops for migrants, potential migrants that are intended to present potentials people that are planning to leave the country, that are planning to migrate out of the country. They are leaving their country of origin to their destination countries. And also the integration services for returning migrants, which is very key. So most times when migrants leave the country or country of their origin, when they go to the country of destination, most times the majority of them go there for different purposes, usually to actually get better life or to increase more in their wages and salaries. So when they go there, they might want to have a link in their function or origin in terms of sending remittances back. So the MRC also enlightens them on how to go about this. And also the information services and advice analytics and investment services, like I said, there's psychosocial services for migrants at risk or who are experiencing exploitation. You just see in the news that you see people that are traveling, but you don't ask the question. Most people that are traveling, all of them that actually have the legal documents, to stay in the country of destination. So most times when they actually go there, most times people that don't have the right documents, they face a lot of, how I see it, abuse. They also face a lot of discrimination. Even some of them who are people that go to the regular as their name. That's what they it's a feeling for example. They can relate, and also the or harvesting. So all those things. So when they come back, when they are being brought back home, so the essential services are what we also feedback to the society. Also, it contributes. MRC also helps with awareness on the development of national and regional policy in culture of origin. Trust and legislation is designed to govern migration and promote growth and development. So that's MRC. So it's MRC/NELEX Center. So the National Electronic People Exchange is the job center of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which is federal government of Nigeria. And it is a federal government public employment agency creating an enabling environment for job creation. It's an electronic job market that enables jobs seekers and employers meet online to minimize challenges faced by job seekers and employers on labor. So, and also to facilitate job matching and placement and drastically reduce time spent on research. Before the advent of NELEX, which is the National Electronic People Exchange, we all know the normal route which we use to apply for jobs is that we actually go through what the PEs, that the private employment agencies, which are the third parties. So we have them submit their CV, most of them model for interview or test. So with the advent of NELEX, it's actually reduced the bridge gap between employers and job seekers. And this was actually facilitated because of the fact that the majority of employers may actually complain of skill gaps in their place of work. So the federal government did feel that for the Nigerian job seekers to be able to access, first-hand information about job vacancies. That was why the NELEX was established. And And also the initially existed as an analog registry and started with systems in Lagos, Abuja, Barr, Asaba, Bauchi, and Kaduna. So it has now grown to 13 months to the total of 19 centers. So that means the national that's the job center, where the National Electric Labor Exchange falls under, is we have definitely in 19 center, which is that grows to 19 states. So job seekers and employers are being the result of these services for free. So that means every job seeker who is seeking for a job can go to the NELEX portal to apply for the job. Employers can also go online to register for free, and they can also post for their job vacancies. Then the NELEX platform collects information about job seekers and employers anywhere in the world. That is to say, it will be local employment, but it will also be international employment. And all these employments are they are actually very MRC team or people in charge by the ministry, so that the Nigerians do not fall into the hands of the wrong employer. So it's also the function of NELEX, the registered job seekers, they verify employer's profile, and also they do job matching. Most of us don't understand that's job matching, but the job matching is very key. Most times when graduates they are actually looking for the job, they don't know the required skills to have in order to match for their own dream job. For instance, the graduate of English now would actually tell you, okay, where he or she can work is in the educational sector. But right now, we have people that are studying some courses that you can work in the embassies. So that job matching is very, very important. So we also do that. And NELEX also they provide labor market information to enhance business decisions, and also on health areas and counseling. So that is very, very key. Part of the things the center does is that we actually have a platform whereby, like, really counseling, we provide people that come to the center, job center. We also ask them to, for vocational career guide, I think they need such. And that will be about skills, serenity, and analysis for employment. Some tools development and things like I said earlier. Maintaining pool of specific skills, self-current and additional analysis, employment work, and so on. So who are the target audience of the MRC and the NELEX Center? So this includes the employees, the employers, the youth, the general public and communities, potential migrants, and the resources. Then who are our existing partners? Because we all know that every organization has people who actually combine together to actually make it form. So the partners, who are the existing partners, they are the ones, they are the partners on ground to make the work rolling. So one of such is which is the Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment, the major stakeholder in this organization, and also the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, National Bureau of Statistics, and National Education Agency, and the private organizations, agencies, NGOs, CSOs, and to mention with the support of the international bodies, the ILO, which is sourcing is represented. So then the IMM, the NGC, and GIZ, which is the center we are. So those are our grand partners. So the recruitment license, like I said, the private employment agencies, they are the ones like the third party. They are the ones government issues certificates for to recruit on behalf of other organizations or for their own personal self. So the ministry is empowered by section 23, 25, and 71 of the Labor Act 190 of license fees and proper persons to operate as labor contractors and private employment agencies for the purpose of employment of workers, both local and international. This license is called the recognized license. So they are the regulators of private employment agencies, and therefore their part of duty is to ensure that every company recruiting gets the recruiter's license, so that they are able to protect the job seekers and the amount of facts and legal evidence around. So it is also we are also doing this more as well because we have saturated illegal recruiters around the country. So whenever we actually see any of them, we can actually call the attention of the ministry to please. So actually, like they say, when you see something, say something. The government cannot do it. You need a collaboration with the government and citizens. So whenever we actually cite most of these illegal recruiters, they have because society is more than the benefit. The benefit is just that they actually operate illegally, and when they operate illegally, a lot of things under they can actually use the recruiter to the government to do a lot of nefarious activities.
when we see such people, we can call their attention to the issue, most especially the MRC Center and such. So these are part of the our session from some of our training website, NELEX. It's www.nelex.com. In our social media handles on Facebook, it's NELEX or Migrant Resource Center Lagos. On Instagram, it's MRC_Lagos. While on Twitter, on X, that's Lagos_MRC. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening.
Everybody, all protocols to be observed. Welcome everybody here once again. Thank you for honoring our invitation, and we are so glad to have you here. On behalf of the head of the Migrant Resource Center, Barrister Mrs. Ovie, who is unavoidably absent, so I'm here to represent her actually. So we don't have much to say, but I think she certainly did, right? So I think after the meeting, I'll ask for you to go. So are you ready?
Everyone celebrating, of course, the event for our sons and our precious and elegant women, and say that on this year's edition of the National Women, which is as it calls to mind the giant strength of women, as well as the ever committed engagements that women have made across the world, and of course in Nigeria, but of course to the support and engagement of women and gender components of a lot of work that we do. I felicitate with all celebrating this year's International Women's Day, and this occasion also extend heartfelt compliments from the International Women's Day. Thank you. You said, I'm the one who gets it? Who exists? Yeah, that's a good question. Yes. You say, man, one thing he wasn't happy. If I remember that in the Bible, I will be happy. They said, God made Adam to sleep. He looked around and saw a woman. He laughed. That very language, he laughed and became happy. So women, kudos, you are great. You make us happy. Actually, the world is around the women. Because if you are a right thinking human being, the world cannot do that. You see, are we starting from home? Taking care of the family, taking care of every environment, making the world suitable. In fact, if the world is not suitable, so that's the question. When you ask it, I was imagining because so today is your day. The national women's day celebration. We are happy. I have to tell you, I want to celebrate it. I have it. If the women are contributing in a spiritual growth of the society, toward the growth of the family, we must make more effort. Nowadays, I'm suspecting people are smiling. In some of the civic responsibilities of those people, we always say men and women are equal. Leave that idea. That idea men and women are equal. You should leave it. So that we cannot spoil something somewhere. Since we are making the world exist in a better way. That idea of what men can do, women can do better. Again, if we want the world to be a more suitable place, let us be that idea. Look what I'm making us proud. Even if you are pretending, the women are doing very well. Let us be very proud. As I said, I will see my performance. I read the event with all other people like this. We need ours. When I debate, I bet.
women, she tells you people, openly let them know that you people are performing. The people that are doing fine, and it is a perfect desire that people will grow to the level that the world, if you say how can you find the world, it's very difficult. But we believe that the women can do it. That's a very big task in our women. How do you find this world? The world is in a very big serious problem. War, the civil we are the and solve the problem. If you watch the battle of 1,200 BC, that was the headache crime. The woman caused battle that killed almost the entire country. So people can make unity in this planet. So I call you that you will enjoy unity in your home, in your environment, in the state, in the country at large. So we don't know where we can continue to raise the women because their hard work is highly committed. So we still pray that God let the women exist and continue to do their good work on it. Thank you.
And we'll take accelerated action for all women and girls equally. For all women and girls, right, equality, empowerment. So that means to be a short. Then after that, please, all right, who will inside the program? I hope that's clear. For all women and girls, right, wow. Okay. So let's go. 1, 2, 3. Accelerated action for all women, girls, rights, equality, and empowerment.
man or woman are wife. Woman, three women, she's wife. And not just being a wife, it's an organizer. A man is organizing the house and everything, but you organize it. Women are leaders. Without them, man will lead it. I mean, the one day they home is not anything. They are managers. And apart from that, look at them, the position, they are their advisors. They have birth now. And then, you get there, they are crops. They are not just when you come from work and you go, or have part-time, you come with a lawyer, you carry that.
Executive Director of Web of Heart Foundation. She's an English graduate with over 10 years experience in people's management, guidance, counseling, entrepreneurship, and skill development. She is highly invested in the rehabilitation, reintegration, and resettlement of migrants and internally displaced persons in Nigeria through talent identification, entrepreneurship training, personal development, psychosocial support, skill acquisition workshops, and other initiatives. She has worked in partnership with Erameh to run Migrant Resource Center since 2015. She is certified in trauma healing from Fast-Stress Trauma Healing Institute, Germany. She is also certified in various aspects of migration management. She has received recognition for her dedication to humanitarian services, including 2 recent awards from the National Commission of Refugees, Migrants, and Internally Displaced Persons, and the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Social Development, and Disaster Management. Madam Bose is an entrepreneur with business in fashion, security, hairdressing, vocational and entrepreneurship training center. She is currently a member of the Technical Working Group on Return, Readmission, and Reintegration Committee. She is currently the Southwest Zonal Coordinator of SCONET, CSO Next Grade. A passion for empowering individuals and communities is evident in our workplace. With a standing ovation, let's welcome Madam Bose.
There are many of us who are here today and don't really know what International Women's Day is all about. So I would go from the beginning of the program to talk about the International Women's Day. Like we've already been intimated that the theme for the year is accelerate action. The word accelerate means that don't go slowly, go fast, and very word fast, so you can get faster results. So we really need to achieve faster results in terms of getting the rights and the equality and empowerment of the women and of the girls. This year's theme is a global call to recognize tactics, tools, and methods that support women's progress in various aspects of life. 50% of our population in Nigeria are women, so it's important that 50% of Nigerian population are not neglected, that they are in a place where they are happy, where they're fulfilled, and where they are contributory to national growth and to personal growth. The brief history of the International Women's Day. The IWD dates back to March 19, 1911. If your eyes are very good, even with my glasses, my eyes are not so good. I'm not able to see the screen too well, but you run the slides so that I can use my iPad too. All right. So brief history of the International Women's Day dates back to March 19, 1911, when it was first celebrated in United States of America and European countries following a proposition by a German activist, Clara Zetkin, in 1910. This was brought about by the labor movement in which numerous women who worked in the apparel industry marched through the streets of New York, The cause was their desire for voting rights. Women were not allowed to vote at the time, and there were conditions if they had to vote. And of course, they wanted better remuneration. Like we know, women are less paid. Even when a man is doing the same job with a woman, they pay the woman less. And we're saying no. Enough is enough. You know, if you do the same work as a man, you should be paid the same wages. To be heard, to be recognized, to be regarded as co-contributors to national and international growth. Then where are we now? We're in 2025. What's the journey so far? That's what a day like this allows us to do, to appraise the situation and address the gaps, what's left to be done for there to be a perfect situation where equality is achieved and gender discrimination is abolished. Promote conversations about social norms and laws regarding women's rights. Still, we're talking about 35% affirmation action in Nigeria, which is still not achieved, because if we look at many of the establishments, we have lesser women who are in leadership positions, and we're saying this is should not be the situation, because in terms of merit, I think there are a lot of women who have pulled their weight. They have become more educated, they have gained more strength, they have become resilient and dutiful, and so should be allowed to lead in places where their competencies are not in question. Government, organizations, and members of civil society to support initiatives that empower women and to push for legal reforms. We're not just asking for reform for mouth. You know, mouth. They keep saying affirmative action. Now mouth is still there. We want it to be in real practice. You know, and then of course we know that this whole agitation, it was further buttressed by the Beijing Convention. I know some men don't like to hear anything about Beijing because it's what brought all this whole agitation, where women are now recognizing that they have rights and they have potentials that allows them to equal the men, and so they should be also similarly rewarded. The Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action is the world's most comprehensive visionary plan ever created to achieve equal rights for all women and girls. It was agreed by 189 governments in 1995, and 17,000 people at the 4th World Conference on Women. It centers on 12 areas of action referred to as critical areas of concern. I'll just run through them without explaining. Women and poverty, women and the economy, political participation, women in power and decision making, education and training of women, the girl child, very important, ending violence against women. We can see how many people around us have died as a result of violence against them, domestic violence. And then women and health, maternal deaths every day. We have quite a large number of women who are dying from maternal deaths. Infant mortality is quite high as well. And then we're looking at the mental state of many women who have extra load to carry nowadays. They are women, but they're wearing pants and wearing jackets and they're wearing that like that. But then, they are women. Women, institutional mechanism, human rights of women, women and the media, because how the media represents the women is very key in our fight, in our advocacy and in our campaign. If you don't report me well as somebody that should be regarded, then my case may not come to the front burner. So the media is quite important in this pursuit, and so media, you know, be careful what you report about women, help us in our pursuit to be able to achieve equality, to be able to achieve our rights being upheld and promoted, and to be able to get to a place where we are empowered to take action. There's the 12 critical areas of, you could go down a bit. Yeah, okay. So there's a nice table there, which if those of you share your emails, if they are generous enough, they can share some of these slides with you, because it's quite a lot, so I'm not going to run through all of them. So this year is a pivotal year for feminism. It's a time to fight for women and girls' rights, demand gender equality, laws, policies, and programs that enforce gender equality. We keep talking about it, but there must be programs and laws that would engineer it, entrench it, and allow it to be sustainable. And so we're insisting on balancing power structures so that everyone has an equitable chance in the world. And then when we refer to the SDG goal, we say leave no one behind. Whether he's a man or a woman, a boy or a child or a girl, leave no one behind. People do have legal rights to certain very normal situations and should be allowed. They should not be discriminated against because of their sex, age, race, religion, as the case may be. And every 5 years, these countries come together to appraise the situation and see what is being done. Now I'm going to just quickly run through some of the advancements, the progress that we have made. Like we said, International Women's Day is for us to appraise the situation, the progress that has been made, and then Amanda, call for change. Advancement towards gender equality. We have more legal protection for women and girls, 1,583 laws against gender-based violence in 193 countries, 354 statutes targeting domestic violence. We know how Osinachi died from domestic violence. At least we all know her as a Nigerian gospel singer who was battered and sent to her grave. Services and support for survivors. Yes, we now have trained police for survivors. We have shelters that can accommodate survivors, So unless a woman who is ignorant and doesn't really know what to do, rather than stay and die or stay and be destitute, there are shelters that can accommodate women today. And there are legal aid pro bono that can be given to women who are under severe abuse and under severe discrimination. There's counseling that is also available to women. The MRC is doing an amazing job of cutting across all fronts to be able to offer guidance, counseling, career advice, conflict resolution, a lot of counseling, and even mental health training. So, and then of course, the healthcare as well. Then you have economic empowerment of women, the ban on gender-based discrimination in employment. At least we now have some women who are able to be employed in places of note. And then we have unpaid care workers, gender gaps closed across education. There are more women now who are also vice chancellors, deputy vice chancellors of universities, principals of schools, and who are taking huge government positions. We have women also who are in the legislature, even though a very minimal number. More women live in conflict and crisis. We have 612 million women and girls who live within 50 kilometers of areas of armed conflict, like the Boko Haram, Chibok girls. Then we have too many women who are still poor. That is just a statement of fact as of today. Almost 10% of the world's women and girls remain stranded in extreme poverty. Speculations have it that we have 158.3 million women and girls who could be pushed into poverty by the year 2050. That's alarming, and it's quite troubling to know that rather than for us to progress, we're regressing. Because if by 2050 we still have over 158 million women who are in deep poverty, then something urgently needs to be done. Maternal mortality is also part of it, and that is because of the incompetence of some of our medical persons, allowing young people to go into maternal conditions that their bodies are not framed for and they are not mature enough to handle. And of course, the child marriage is one aspect which we stand against. I think a child should be matured enough before she's taken into any man's house and is violated. 103 countries have never had a woman head of state. And there are so many women who are competent. Gender parity still remains a distant dream despite the progress in women political participation. Even when we have had women like Kamala Harris come into being the vice president for the United States of America, we still have so many women who are not recognized for anything at all. The global crisis against women and girls continues with few signs of abating. Around 736 million women have been subjected to physical or sexual violence. That's a number that, when I first read it online, it gave me real troubles, because sometimes you think it's a micro number, but it's sad that 736 million women in the world are being subjected to physical or sexual violence by an intimate partner. Intimate partner means your husband, or maybe your fiancé or whatever. And then by a non-partner at some point in their lives. Women are exposed to a lot of sexual harassment, a lot of sexual abuse, and I say one of the contributing factors is that, these days there's no ugly woman, unless a woman who doesn't know her base, Most women look beautiful, well-shaped, nicely dressed, smell good, and so definitely we are going to attract. But then, you can see with your eyes and zip up. All 17 of course, digital technology is not helping, because you just press information, both the one you want, the one you don't want. Some people don't want to abuse, but they can go into the internet and watch one porno movie, and then they're jacked up, and then of course the next thing that is in skirts is their victim. So digital technology is not also helping in gender-based violence and escalating it. Then of course all 17 SDG goals, which is the Sustainable Development Goals, of which the world is using to try and refine some of the world systems, also depends on achieving gender equality. So governments around the world are also agitating for gender equality. What we're saying is that when the tire meets the ground, what is gender equality to any society? What are we really doing with those two words, gender equality? What are we doing with those words? Now we have rights. We have rights to live. Rights to live free from violence. Rights to live free from violence and discrimination, to enjoy the highest attainable standard of physical and mental health. Mental health is key. It's not everybody that is jumping on the street naked that is mad. There are many people who are well dressed, but there's a lot of insanity, there's a lot of depression, there's a lot of mental disorder that is going on. People are coming from backgrounds where their fathers abuse their mothers, where their mothers abuse their fathers. Because I don't want to say that it's only men that abuse women. I have seen women who abuse men. So gender-based violence is gender-based violence, and that means male and female. So mental health is key. I'm hoping that the country will be able to have mental health centers where people can actually go for assessment. Make I check this my head first. My head really correct. Why am I beating my child? Why am I beating my wife? Why am I stopping my wife from going out? She can't go to church. She can't go to market. She can't visit her family. She can't even do business. She can't go to school. And yet she's your wife and you love her. I don't get it. What's love got to do with it? Right to be educated, the right to own property. There are communities where women are not allowed to own property. They say you are exceeding your limits when you now want to own property. But I thank God for advancement. Today, many women do own properties. And the sad part, many men don't know the properties that their wives own. Because we live in a patriarchal society where the men don't want to see the women own anything. So, you buy your house, you hide it. You buy your house, you give it to your cousin to help you hold until when? Of course, we have the right to vote. Rights to earn an equal wage. That is part of the fight, and that fight is ongoing. That if you can make this water and you're a man, and I make the same water and I'm a woman, don't pay me less. That's just what it is all about. Don't pay me less. Don't pay me less because I wear skirts. Don't pay me less because I have breasts. Don't pay me less because I have a vagina. No. Pay me the same that is due to that service. And that is what gender equality is all about. And then, of course, we have the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria. It guarantees every citizen the right to dignity. If somebody beats you and abuses you, he has undignified you. Let me use that word. That means he has slashed your ego, your dignity, and has reduced you to almost rubble. And when the Constitution is not for that, the Constitution is saying that there is right to dignity. That means that anybody that wants to handle you should handle you with honor. Should handle you like a human being who has dignity, a human being who has potentials, a human being who has skills and talents. Freedom from any form of discrimination. Don't discriminate against somebody because the person is a woman. Don't discriminate against somebody because the person is a Christian. Don't discriminate against somebody because the person is a Muslim. We are saying that all forms of discrimination should end. People should not be discriminated on account of their culture, their income. They should not be discriminated on account of their religion or their race. So racism needs to die in the world. But if you choose to die, there are laws now that are protecting us from vipers and men who do not want to treat women with dignity. And I will say women who don't want to treat men with dignity. There's the provision of the administration of criminal justice. There's a criminal code act. There's a penal code act. Do you know that for touching a girl's breast and she goes to report it, you can go for 7 years imprisonment? I'm not kidding. I know somebody who is serving 14 years now. 14 years. He owned a computer shop, and the young girls who used to go there to train with him, he takes them one by one into the toilet. He doesn't have sex with them because there is no time for that. The toilet is small. But he will do all manner of erotic stuff, and he will abuse them. And one day, one of the young girls thought, I need to report this uncle. And she went and told an NGO, sadly, that this uncle abuses us. And this is an NGO that's coming up. So she wanted to make a name for her NGO that, look, I'm fighting for women who are violated. And she took the matter up. And the matter was brought to me and said, Madam, use your influence to see if this guy can be bailed. I said, me, use my organization to free this man who 4 girls have come to admit that he abuses them. Not going to happen. And today, as I speak, that guy is in Kirikiri. Whether his case has finally been judged, I don't know. But he's in Kirikiri. Is somebody known to me, so it's not story. And of course, we have the VAP Act. The VAP Act is very effective in Lagos State. And if Lagos government has not done anything, one hand for them. For this VAP Act, they are exercising it seriously. If you have anybody that is being abused, there are lines called free toll lines now that you can call. And then the Ministry of Women Affairs, if you don't know anything, go to Alausa, go to the Ministry of Women Affairs. I am an abused woman. That's all you need to say. You'll be put aside and you'll be attended to. The VAP Act is effective and is sending many abusers to jail where they belong. And Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination, the CEDAW, is also quite effective. And if you are being discriminated against, unduly discriminated against, and you can make your case, go ahead. CEDAW is there to prevent and rescue. And then we're coming back to gender equality. SDG goals is focused on pursuing this main goal. Ending gender disparities, eliminating violence against women and girls, eliminating early and forced marriage, securing equal participation and opportunities. Yeah, equal participation and opportunities is also one of the very key points that is being espoused today regarding the International Women's Day. That more women should be allowed to participate in leadership positions. More women should be allowed to participate in politics. Many of them want to participate, but they are faced with discrimination, they are faced with lack of funding, they are faced with stereotypes. Women are the weaker sex, they have no brains. All they know how to do is probably to cook and the other one. So, you know, many of them are discriminated against in terms of leadership positions, but we know that there are so many women who are in key positions, who have shown ability, who have shown resilience and great expertise, and who should be given privilege to be in leadership positions, even in communities. Nigeria and gender equality, Nigeria registered the lowest in gender equality in Africa. How sad. using 3 dimensions: education, reproductive health, and labor markets. The labor people can tell you exactly how many cases that they handle here from the females who come in to either look for employment or other economic opportunities through the labor ministry, and the MRC is on their feet campaigning for your labor rights to be upheld, campaigning for fair recruitment policies, best practices in terms of recruitment of women and girls. Major sources of inequality, well, said that. Government policies, household decisions. Nigeria has the lowest number of women in legislation, in education, in governance. You can imagine a whole Senate, only 3 women and 4, out of which now is -1. So this is shameful. Women pay more taxes. If you go to the tax, women pay more. If you see a woman who is on the same level with a man in an office, the woman is paying more tax than the man, and I'm wondering why. Why? Because she's a woman, and she's on the same level with the man, level 15, and her tax is more than the man on level 15. I don't get it. There is no explanation other than stereotypes that are being upheld from age to age, time to time. One saying that is enough. That is enough. If a woman is a managing director and she marries to be a managing director, she should pay the same taxes as a man who is that same managing director, doing the same thing and achieving the same results. And I would dare to say that women even achieve more results, but we don't joke with work. Nigeria has the lowest number of women in legislation. Okay, Nigeria is one of 5 countries with low women participation. I said that leadership positions are rarely given to women, and that is true. Women have a higher share of soft skills than men, but women are considered subordinate to their male counterparts, especially in a patriarchal society like Nigeria, especially in northern Nigeria, where women are not allowed to have any voice. Women are not allowed to come out of Buddha. They are not allowed to come out from the shell or the hole with which, I don't know where, I'm sorry, excuse my language, but the confinements, let's use the word confinement, the confinements that they are being placed in, women need to come out, be allowed to come out, be able to express their talent. If you lock a woman up, you lock up her talent, you lock up her skills, you lock up everything that she's able to do that is good. Every opportunity that she can bring to the world, the growth that she can even bring to the world, is locked up, is sealed up, is concealed. No. If this woman has virtues and she has skills and she has talent, nothing should stop her. That is what we are saying on this day, International Women's Day. And of course, we have environmental injustice, If it's a man that commits the crime and it is a woman commits the crime, they will stone the woman, but the person who the crime is being committed against will be allowed to take a walk. That's why we thank God for the God that we serve. We said, "Where are your accusers?" He said, "I can't see them anymore. So I can't see them too." Told you. In criminal justice systems, entertainment worlds, we have, women are still not pulling up their weight in terms of television, in terms of movies, even in sports. There's a lot of discrimination women face, even in sports, in religion. Imagine a number of religious leaders. How many mosques or churches do you know where women are leaders? If you tune your TV now and it was a woman preaching and a man preaching, what will you do? You switch to the one that the man is preaching. Because that is the stereotype that the world has grown with. And we're saying that stereotype needs to be reversed. People need to be taken on their basis of competence, availability, impact. It's important. Culture and tradition, fear women-head communities. I don't know how many communities you go to and they say the Oba is a woman, or the Vale is a woman, or the what? Whereas if they had left some women to be the ballet of some communities, you will need to see what that community will be by today. I'm not kidding. Women, we don't joke with whatever is given to us. That's why we are builders. That's why we are mothers. Please, any male chauvinist, don't hate me. I'm only trying to represent the women in the world today. Solutions. Okay. Ending discrimination in law and practice. Human beings were generally unbridled. So we need laws to make us conform. And we're advocating for those laws that will make the world to conform. That gender equality is urgent, is needful, and is now. And envisioning a sustainable economy with gender equality at its core. Yes, if you're leaving people who are competent out, then the economy is also being compromised. So we need women with vision. We need visionary women. We need women with might. We need women with focus. We need women with education. We need women with a drive. There are some women that will always be women. I want to sit down house. I want to watch TV. I want to go from Netflix to DSTV to Showmax. Fine. But there are some women who are not content sitting down Monday to Friday watching TV. They are not content just waiting for the kids to come back from school and give them food. Because after your kid is 10 to 14, he has left you. He has gone to school, from school to boarding to uni, jackpot. So closing the leadership gaps and of course unleashing the power of women's collective action. Women really need to come together. The Labour Act, I tried to enumerate a few just for us to leave the place of ignorance. Many people don't know. They are just in their offices complaining. My boss this, my company that. They don't know that there are Labour Acts that can enforce the company to give them what is their due. You are level 17 and they want to pay you level 13 because you are a woman. There are laws. There are labor laws. The Federal Ministry of Labour and the Migrant Resource Center have worked tirelessly. I've been privileged to be at a lot of fora where they have talked about their activities and their functions, and I know that they are fighting very hard to make sure that there are labor laws that are protective of the employee and even the employer. There are labor laws that allows you for fair recruitment, but you must know your right and you must know that law. That is why we're saying that education is important. When the woman is educated, then she can also know that she has rights, and she can know how to forge ahead to insist that those rights be exercised on her behalf. We have the labor law, we have the labor migration law. You know, if you are abroad or in another man's country, in a destination country, as we will say, then you should be able to know the labor laws of that country. So you know exactly when you are just being used to produce, but you too will become a product of nothing. You should be able to know when you are abused, labor abuse. You should be able to also know that through the Labour Act. In Nigeria, we have a standard working week that should not exceed 6 days and working hours 8 hours. But we have bosses that say resume at 7, close when I want to close. And he's going to close at 10 p.m. And you're a mother of 4. And you cannot say anything because you need that job. But Nigerian labor law is saying that you are entitled to work 6 days in a week, and your working hours should be 8 hours. There is another law that says that a worker should not be employed for more than 3 months without formal recognition of such employment. People who work for 1 year, they say they are on what do you call that thing? Probation. 2 years, still on probation. You won't confirm somebody's appointment because you want to pay the person less. No, there are laws that are saying no, after 3 months, they must confirm you or remove you. There are laws that says no woman shall be employed on night work in a public or a private, industrial or an agricultural setting. How many women know this? Then the man says you will do nights. Then you will do 3 nights. Your children are at home. Your husband is at home. Who's going to cook for him? Who's going to cook for his children? But if you work 8 hours a day, you know you can give them breakfast before you go to work. And you know you can give them dinner before they go to bed. But when somebody is insisting that you work till 10 p.m. and don't get properly remunerated for it, there are laws that are saying no, a woman should not be put on night work. And if you are put on night work, it should be very fair. No, you just do night, Monday to Friday. And in jobs that are not conducive for women to work at night, like the industrial work, agricultural work, midnight, all night till tomorrow morning, after. How hours of work and overtime, they are in the labor law. Just go, take time. Especially those of you who are in employment. I never work, so I don't know what it means. But those of you who are in employment, take time, go through the labor laws. The acts are there that protect you. And people need to start to speak up, even if it is at a price. Apprenticeship must be signed by authorized labor officer. People will just do apprentice 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Nobody is signing their apprenticeship. They'll go and wash this. They'll go and do this. They'll take madam's thing. Yeah, that, you know. No. It's an apprenticeship, and then it must be signed by authorized labor officer. So that organization, you make sure that it's an organization that is authorized. Because many of us, we cannot get referrals from where we work because they are not authorized by the Ministry of Labor. Reinstatement and reemployment, compensations for your work, going for medical examination and then pay. See, when you go for medical examination, when you are looking for a new job and you go for medical examination, it is not you that should pay for the medical examination, it's your employer. But here, you will go and spend 76,000, do a full test, carry it to the office. After 1 week, they tell you are not okay for the job because they must see something wrong with you. Nobody is complete. And then, you know, but if the employer is paying, they can consider it that okay, it's just malaria you have. You can continue with the work. It's okay. You know, this is really the case. Maternity leave must be 6 weeks before and 6 weeks after. And those of us who are advocating for fair play are saying that men should also be given paternity leave. Some of them are getting already. So if you're a man and you're on employment and you're not getting paternity leave, I'm telling you now, it's your right. Go and fight for it and get it. And there is payment that is also coming to it as a result of that. So you have 6 weeks before, you have 6 weeks after. And then we have robust regulations on employment, recruitment of workers, and the like. If you go to nelex.gov.ng, you will see a lot of these rights that you can exercise for your own good. And of course, we have employment. The labor force participation rate among females is 52%. We have the males at 55%. In USA, we have 47% of women who are employed. In Nigeria, we have 49.6 women. Nigerian men earn 75% more on average than Nigerian women. Why? Gentlemen in the house, why? Entrepreneurship, Nigeria boasts a thriving community of women entrepreneurs. That is one thing I give to women. Women, they try. Women, they try. Look at a street full of entrepreneurs selling all manner of things. Out of 10 of them, 8 are women. I'm not saying men, no, they are saying 2%.
Have you ever been sometimes, a year ago, I think I tell a lot of things. Okay, you see, powers are not given, but you work from it. For some of you who are an NGO and all that, look at the research. You will find that the number of women in the society are more than men. The number of people who also vote, okay, when you check the record, okay, women are more. The men are you, they are paying more, and the women that are going to vote. Why? they will deal with them. You see, a lady came up one time in Nigeria to pray. She got one vote. She got one vote. Are you telling me she voted for herself? Where are the women? Where are the women? Now in 2027, women in Nigeria, at least you can find a handful of them who have money to sponsor political party. Go and register. Okay? And mandate all women in Nigeria to vote for a woman. You will see that you will win us. But like you said, okay, women are the same problem. Okay? You see a woman will come and say, you don't take for husband house. This is more for everything. I mean, you understand what kinds of strategies will come up. And they will see reasons why you want to go for that woman. I will forget that whether you are in a lower cadre, as long as you are in that upper cadre, it's very easy to make decisions. Okay, that's why the decision matters. Assuming you have a woman as a president, okay, you have, okay, and they appoint a police commissioner, a woman, IG, a woman, all strategic places, a woman. You can't take nonsense from them because they know that there are places where you can go and start with the whole thing. Look at what happened to that protection. I hear you. You see, if I toast you, it's only you and me that know that I toast you. If the third party is not there. So the two of them knows what has transpired. But how many women spoke for her? Even before the decision was taken, when she presented the panel, they have already sentenced her to 6 months suspension. You understand what I'm saying? For example, I know that. But how many of us are speaking for her? How many women are speaking for her? The thing you hear is that she's too beautiful. She's a follow man. She's do like this. We're already to speak for her. So I challenge all of you today. 2027, get the political party registered. I am one of those who are able to campaign for you.
Or when somebody is using them, or when you are data quarreling with them. That case of woman senator, all the time she was discussing with the Senate president. They were talking very fine. You couldn't hear anything. And maybe, what am I trying to say? That time I backed you. You can report to government and you need to punish you. That also, not waiting until when you are seeking favor from me, you cannot get it. You now come back. That man has been abusing me. That man abused me. The women, they should correct this impression. That is the problem living up and down now. If you want to take action in a particular thing, somebody take that action. Not when you are laughing. Somebody may use you. A political friend may use you. Let's go for you. I never went that man talking somewhere. I never went that man said, report it. It cannot work. When something happens, you report it immediately and not take action. That's the area I'm saying, madam.
Which I said, the Senate president is any human. And so we have propensity to fall at any time. Just like I say, I'm someone and I'm loving on him, and I say one nice word, right? Touching, But, same thing for a man. So, and then, like I was saying, that something against something. Maybe she thought she could push it on and it happened. But if you do like you, that's what happened there. So, when the man, he did her bad inside the house, they treated her, move her seat, they just anyhow. So she told the man anyhow. That's what happened. Whether it is true or not, it's still left for us to understand. So since she said she had evidence, my thing is that I don't know at what point she's going to prove the world wrong and prove herself right. and bring forth that evidence. I pray that the forum for her to actually produce evidence will come, because the Senate President is like any man, like my father, like my husband, like my sons. They are allowed to like, they are allowed to touch. It is when you touch the wrong one that will happen. You know, so I also think that for a woman who is in a husband's house, who can come out only to say, this happened to me. You know, many people will keep quiet and let people, and harassment will continue. We must speak out at all costs. No matter the price of paying, yes, you go for 6 months and go and enjoy and say, like, I go to the Bahamas, go and make sure I enjoy my life well, you know. But then she must make sure she pursues the state of pain, so that she can indicate to them like a top fighting for blessings of God.
When this happens like this, is stigmatization. You know, you have women in profession, you have doctors, lawyers, and they are going through this. So the first is, are we able to assist these women that ordinarily we look at them as women in power, and be able to assist them to a level that such issues are not, they're not stigmatized by such issues. So I think that's what we should be looking at. The fact that we have enabling environment to help these women, to protect them. Yes, it has happened. How do we protect them afterwards? Apart from women in power, we also have young girls that go through this. So how do we protect them? I know Lagos State is doing a lot, but I also believe that Lagos State can do more. Because if a woman has been sexually abused, the first thing she's thinking, how do I hide it? Even if she goes to police, they won't take her seriously. So the thing is, how do we protect them? So I think Lagos State is doing more, like doing so much, like I said. I think we can also do more to make sure that when a woman has not sexual abuse, there's a certain way we protect her.
You just want to take on it. I have a friend who wrote on his Facebook about this issue that imagine how many women in offices have been abused by Natasha. We can't count because they will talk about, and the reason why they will talk about what Natasha is experiencing right now. And what so many women and girls are actually experiencing wherever they stay. We have people in families where women are abused by their parents or abused by people who are supposed to be caregivers or supposed to care for them, right? And then you know that the moment you say that this child has been abused in this family, what someone is going to ask is, how do you know? Prove it. Bring evidence. Let's be sure. Think about that person is already dealing with something really hard. Rather than thinking about let's protect this person from this abuse or the abuser, you're now kind of encouraging and enabling the abuser, because the moment she asks the woman, are you sure I want to? The abuser is like, yes. You are encouraging them to do what I'm doing. Thank you.
I would say that one of the reasons why it's important to protect the girl child is to prevent issues like what I went through. It's easy to take your eyes away from issues like this, and then you have what my boss would say, you try to fix it after it has happened. When we protect girls, when we create platforms that actually protect and educate girls, you reduce their vulnerabilities and the tendency for them to go through what someone like me experienced, right? And that is what a day like this is for, to make sure that it doesn't happen, to make sure that you're actually encouraging people to stand for what is right and to ensure that people are not victimized or young girls are not victimized, and that they are given a platform to grow and become better. So I am basically saying that this prevention is better than actually focusing on trying to fix it after it has happened. Thank you.
I just wanted to add that when we talk about the girl child, we are saying the word child is very important, but the girl child is the essence. Because if you look at the election process right now, we have more voters as women. all a collective business. Digital divide, information is not readily available to many of the grassroots communities where we work. We run an organization called White Children Initiative, we are passionate about the girl child and women. When we talk about digital divide, we're talking about technology, it's not available. So we see in many communities in the grassroots, the girl child fine has improved that progressive era of the girl child should stay at home. But we are saying education is many grassroots communities prefer to put the boy child in school, and they say, okay, let the girl child stay at home. So when we are talking to women, sad to say that in an area like our Lagos and Lekki here, we see more of the boys in school than the girls, very close towards here. And the government is doing a lot. Lagos State is trying. We have a lot of agencies that are working. Ministry of Women Affairs, they are doing their bit. But when we talk about technology, we still have a lot of things to make available to the girl child. We have the World Literacy Foundation, for example. What they are doing for the girl child is they are able to come out and tell them this is the community where the girls are not being encouraged to go to school. They are ready to say, okay, let us set up some equipment, but this information is not available. How many NGOs, how many civil societies are aware that there's a group like that is ready to do so much for the girl child?
Thank you very much. The cost of the norms and the culture of our society, like in Africa, or down to Nigeria, or part of this country, outrightly does not favor the girl child. Just as the last thing I just mentioned, there are some things we believe in this country that is right, which is absolutely wrong. One, that priority be given to a male child over the girl child, without giving them equal opportunity, because either due to poverty or as a result of religious belief. And outrightly, you just conclude that the boy will do better, let the girl stay behind. And then we promote the boy child over the girl child, give them education, take care of them, and we just believe that the girl will end up in a man's house. That belief that girl cannot do better, that girl is limited, that girl has inefficiency is very bad. And the religious belief as well, and cultural belief, I'm sad to say that some people believe that, look, a child girl is just for making money due to poverty. Let's analyze. When a man is so poor or is poor and he has 3 or 4 children, and maybe out of them 2 are boys, 2 are girls, he's looking up with the girl that very soon, at the age of 13 or 14, this one will make me money. Let's say the culture whereby when you are coming for that or whatever, you need 2 or 5 pounds. He's looking at himself going to be a potential wealth man. So you'll be encouraged to what? To give the girl child out for marriage. And as a result of that, he finds back a lot of essential things, which she will have in life, opportunity to study, opportunity to get a lot of things, and end up in poverty. And there's a lot of things I have to say, but maybe because of time, as the question progresses.
That's another thing. When they are going through this process, they are told to stay at home and not go to school. So the father and baby will say, why am I going to spend so much on school fees, especially when the poverty issue comes in? Why am I going to spend so much on school fees when how many times in a month for a session they are in school for like 3 months? Let's calculate how many days she's not going to be in school because of this mental issue. So let's keep her at home. So at the end of the day, that's another factor that results in the girl child being told to stay at home. And the healthcare centers are trying to do a lot, NGOs are doing a lot to try and see. UNDP, they're going to do something right now where, okay, let me say.
Girls are not allowed to make decisions they are not empowered to make decisions. So you find out that in families like what we are discussing now, you find out that these girls are not actually even taught how to make decisions for themselves. The men in the family should make the decision for you. They are the ones who know better, right? So it's part of what the problem is. Anything or empowering them to make decisions is what will reduce the problem. But then that access to resources or information that can actually help them make this decision for themselves is not there. Let's take for instance immigration, right? Because that's where I work. You find out that most of the women who actually migrated, they migrate because they understand what migration is for them. They did it because they were doing it for family, or they were motivated by family members, especially their fathers or the husbands, people who believe that they have power over them. And they rely so much, women kind of rely so much on people for decision making. So if you're empowering a woman who has come back to Nigeria, for instance, you hear her saying things like, I will need to ask my husband, what do you want to do? Right? Because the foundation is not there for her to actually make a decision for herself. She actually needs to go back to where the source of the problem. That's how I say it to them as well. That's the source of your problem. You also need to start thinking for yourself. So the problem is that they are not empowered to actually make decisions for themselves.
Okay, so my first point will be education and sensitization. I believe the major cause of some of these problems is a lack of knowledge. You know, when there's a popular saying that knowledge is power, what you don't know, you don't know. I believe if you can create a safe system for our women, for our girls to speak up when they are going through a lot, when they are passing through things. I know we've not spoken about domestic violence here, we've not spoken about abuse, we've not spoken about emotional abuse, not even physical abuse. A lot of girl child out there go through these things, but they cannot speak up. If you remember maybe while growing up, we have heard of cases, scenarios of girl children being maltreated in schools, but they don't have who to report to because they are probably scared of their parents, or probably because their parents have not sensitized them enough to know that they can always come to them to speak up. Even in our workplace, even in religious organizations, wherever we find ourselves, I think there should be a sensitization and awareness for every girl child to learn how to speak up and not die in silence. So that when you speak up, a problem shared is absorbed. So when you share your problem, you are able to speak up. The next person can hold your hand and fight for you. She mentioned a point the other time that we are in a system whereby you are being shut down. You run a patriarchy system in Nigeria, we are all aware of that. There was a popular thing that was going on when one of our political leaders said that the wife only belongs, will remain a housewife and the other, I don't know if you can remember the incident. And you know, there was also an advert that was trending one time when a man gave birth and wanted to break the news to the mom and was like, Mama, it's a boy. If you realize that at some point that advert was taken down for obvious reasons. So that is what we are talking about. A system that allows a girl child to speak for themselves. And so it will bring me back to my first point that says awareness, sensitization. Speak to these young girls. If many of us can remember back then in school, we have listened to some speakers that were invited to our schools that motivated us in one way or the other to do better. We have some people that saw probably a young core member that came to school and you're determined in your mind that I want to be like this core member. So I believe there should be sensitization programs for a girl child. It's not informed. Does not. The next question I would ask is, how many of us actually know our rights? Do you know your rights as a woman? If you know your rights as a woman, then you can stand. Then you can tell your girl child, this is what you are entitled to. So organizations or NGOs like us go around schools. Like right now we have approval to go to all the schools in Lagos State. And Lagos State we have 60 streets. The work is enormous, so everybody has to come on board. When we talk about IWD, there is a call for action. Let's accelerate progress. If I remember, the first female vice chancellor, Professor Erameh, she was a woman, and what did she do? Mathematics. What brought her out of that worry section? She grew up from Delta State. From how many children were there, how many girls were there. But it was education that brought her, that made her get the scholarship that she got, and that scholarship took her to the UK. And she stood her ground, and she came back as what? As one of the renowned mathematicians we have in Lagos State. So education is a pivotal role. Nobody can underplay it. So I feel I'm limited because the options are not really available to me. And I feel that what you don't know is what you always think is very good. We've you've gone to all these schools, fine, you don't have a sports center in many of the public schools you have here. There they play basketball, you have to take them to the stadium. But that should not be a limitation for you. Right now, you are being sent to school. She was complaining that amongst those she was brought from the village, that she's the one that they would wake up early in the morning to do the chores, to do the list. And the director there that was with us for the program got up and told her, this story you are giving is not a limitation for you in any way. So NGOs have a lot of work to do because we're able to encourage that girl that education, the fact that they've even sent you to school, be grateful for that. You can take yourself out of this place where you have found yourself. Because I must tell you, once you go to school, you are educated to have a voice anywhere. And that voice gives you the ability to. There was a program we had in one of the schools, and one of the children actually got up to say, why are people saying people are not going to school? Because why? The environment where that child has been brought up encourages going to school and has never heard of a situation where a girl child is not being allowed to go to school, or has never even, it doesn't even understand what are you talking about, call to action. Everybody in my family is a doctor, is a lawyer, is a this, is a that. So I'm just saying, the environment you find yourself, make use of that environment and create impact. So we're able to tell the girl, the fact that you're not in a private school is not, and I have been to a number of schools, and I just couldn't tell the girl that this school you are in is even better than many of the private schools have been in. Because the girls were so bold, they were so confident, they had voices they could speak, and I was happy we were there because we were able to tell them, just know your rights. Know what, the UN has something they call Declaration of Human Rights. It's a small book. How many people have the time to actually read it and know their rights? And I always tell women, if you know the SDG goals, for example, right to life, right to water, I talk about water, I talk about climate, those are invariably our rights. They are calling for action on those SDG goals. They are saying we should have a voice with regards to these issues. So I'm encouraging mothers, wives, everybody here, take something back. No matter what, no matter the situation you find yourself, let the girl child have a voice. We are talking about rights, we are talking about equality. Many of the girls will tell me, we are not equal to Oga's children. I said, please, why are you looking at Oga's children that go on holiday every summer to London? I can tell you, the categorical example I always give them is Professor Lele Williams, Google her blessed memory now. She wasn't from an elite home, but at the end of the day, there's nobody that has not heard about Professor Grace and Lele Williams.
I think that the reason why we are still having young people you feel like I educated. For instance, I have finished my BSc before I got graduate. It's funny, right? And the thing is, the right kind of information that is related to those class of people. So the reason why women that have information are saying Natasha should, people should actually help investigate what has happened is because they understand it, right? Now, the ones who are doing a match against Natasha is because they don't understand it. So if you're going to take information to that kind of community, you have to make it relatable, make them understand. You're taking sensitization and awareness to a school where you know that these children barely even have access to 3 square meal. Make it relatable. Teach them what they actually need to know about their rights. Right? That's what is actually going to help advance this information that we are passing.
There are people who know the value of education, and there are some people who don't value education up to now. We are talking. Now, you must understand that education is unique, and access to unlock the great potential. You mentioned about television and the rest of them. We are talking about them today because they are educated. Now, there are people who don't believe, there are families, practically now, speaking from practical aspect, they will not care when their children get to school, whether they miss classes or not. Some might perform jobs at home, and they don't find it necessary that the child should get to school by 8 or by 8 or before 8 to at least to attend the first class, so that the child gets to school demoralized. Some of them are big, some of them are dead, close by 1 or thereabout. Some doesn't, you see, they just push their child to school and they let the child or the school take care of. They don't care what happens after the school, and they don't even know that the child's life matters a lot. If the child will grow up and to understand that they will learn better, the parents will include. Sometimes will take their children's homework or whatever. But what am I saying in this case? So close by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the night. I was able, but what is okay? Let me go to police. I am going to buy food. I can't live with this because the gate man there have problem with sex. So if you reach China, eventually I have to lie away something when we are home. Where are you? Say it's not that. They are only one of them. They are afraid. Can you think about that? So at least the child you want to go to come to school and time again and you do have homework and use and that. So we should give priority, you see, to them. Let us have interest in what they are doing. That the best legacy you can give to a child is education. Give them money, give you whatever, they will end up destroy everything and go to their own. There are rich men in this country that are not